The M2 Bradley is one of the most iconic infantry fighting vehicles ever built, a machine designed not just to move soldiers across the battlefield but to fight alongside them in the most intense combat environments. Developed during the Cold War, the Bradley was born out of the U.S. Army's realization that modern warfare required infantry to keep pace with tanks, survive enemy fire, and deliver decisive firepower of their own. What emerged was a vehicle that would go on to shape mechanized infantry doctrine for decades and prove itself in real combat again and again. The story of the Bradley begins in the late 1960s and early 1970s, when the U.S. Army was searching for a replacement for the aging M113 armored personnel carrier. The M113 could transport troops, but it lacked the armor, firepower, and battlefield awareness needed for high-intensity conflict against a peer adversary like the Soviet Union. The new vehicle had to do more than carry infantry, it had to fight, destroy enemy armor, suppress infantry, and survive on a battlefield filled with anti-tank weapons. After years of design debates, testing, and political controversy, the Bradley entered service in the early 1980s, named after General Omar Bradley, a prominent U.S. commander of World War II. At first glance, the M2 Bradley's design reflects its multi-role purpose. It is a tracked, armored vehicle with a low profile, built to move over rough terrain and keep up with main battle tanks such as the M1 Abrams. Its armor is designed to protect the crew and infantry from small arms fire, artillery fragments, and, in later variants, even certain anti-tank weapons. Over time, the Bradley's protection was significantly upgraded, especially after lessons learned from combat revealed new threats. Add-on armor, explosive reactive armor, and improved internal protection systems turned the Bradley into a much tougher vehicle than its early versions. The crew of the M2 Bradley typically consists of 3 soldiers, a commander, a gunner, and a driver. In addition to the crew, the vehicle can carry a squad of infantry soldiers in the rear compartment. These infantrymen are not just passengers, they are a key part of the Bradley's combat role. The idea is simple but powerful. The Bradley brings infantry to the fight under armor, supports them with heavy firepower, and allows them to dismount at the right moment to seize and hold terrain. This combination of mobility, protection, and firepower is what defines an infantry fighting vehicle. One of the most distinctive features of the M2 Bradley is its weapon system. The primary armament is the 25mm M242 Bushmaster chain gun, mounted in a 2-man turret. This weapon is capable of firing a variety of ammunition types, including armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds. The Bushmaster is highly reliable and effective against enemy infantry, lightly armored vehicles, and even some older tanks when engaging weak points. Its high rate of fire and accuracy give the Bradley the ability to dominate enemy positions and provide close support to dismounted troops. In addition to the chain gun, the Bradley is equipped with a coaxial 7.62mm machine gun for engaging infantry and soft targets. Perhaps the most feared weapon on the Bradley, however, is its TOW anti-tank missile system. Mounted on the side of the turret, the TOW missile gives the Bradley the ability to destroy main battle tanks at long range. This capability fundamentally changed how infantry fighting vehicles were perceived. The Bradley was not just a support vehicle, it was a tank killer, able to engage heavily armored targets from distances well beyond the reach of most enemy weapons. Mobility is another critical aspect of the M2 Bradley's design. Powered by a diesel engine, the vehicle can reach speeds of over 60 km/h on roads and maintain good mobility off-road. Its track suspension allows it to cross mud, sand, snow, and uneven terrain where wheeled vehicles would struggle. This mobility ensures that mechanized infantry units equipped with Bradleys can maneuver rapidly across the battlefield, exploit breakthroughs, and respond quickly to changing combat situations. The true test of any military vehicle, however, comes not in design specifications but in combat. The M2 Bradley first saw large-scale combat during the 1991 Gulf War. There, it exceeded expectations. Bradleys destroyed more Iraqi armored vehicles than the M1 Abrams tank, largely due to their effective use of TOW missiles. The vehicle proved its ability to fight and survive in a high-intensity conflict, validating the concept of the infantry fighting vehicle. While there were losses, the overall performance of the Bradley demonstrated that it was a formidable weapon system when used correctly. In the years that followed, the Bradley continued to evolve. Combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan presented new challenges, including improvised explosive devices, urban warfare, and asymmetric threats. To meet these challenges, the Bradley received multiple upgrades. Improved armor kits enhanced protection against mines and roadside bombs. Better optics, thermal sights, and fire control systems increased the crew's ability to detect and engage enemies, day or night. Digital communication systems improved coordination with other units, aircraft, and command elements, turning the Bradley into a key node on the modern battlefield. Despite its successes, the M2 Bradley has not been without controversy. Critics have pointed to its weight, complexity, and the fact that early versions were criticized for limited protection and internal space. Over time, as more armor and systems were added, the vehicle became heavier, raising concerns about mobility and transportability. These debates are a normal part of military development, especially for a vehicle that has been in service for decades. Yet the fact that the Bradley is still relevant today speaks to the strength of its original design and its ability to adapt. The Bradley's role is not just about firepower and protection, it is also about the soldiers who operate it. Crews train extensively to master the vehicle's systems, coordinate with infantry, and operate as part of combined arms teams. In modern warfare, the Bradley often works alongside tanks, artillery, drones, and aircraft. Its sensors and weapons allow it to identify threats and engage targets while sharing information across the battlefield. This integration makes the Bradley far more than a standalone vehicle, it is a crucial component of a larger combat system. As military technology continues to advance, the future of the M2 Bradley is gradually coming into focus. The U.S. Army has been working on replacement programs, aiming to field next-generation infantry fighting vehicles with improved protection, automation, and networked capabilities. However, until those systems are fully deployed, the Bradley remains a frontline asset. Upgraded variants continue to serve, incorporating lessons learned from decades of combat and technological development. The legacy of the M2 Bradley is significant. It changed how armies think about mechanized infantry, demonstrating that infantry vehicles can be heavily armed, well protected, and decisive on the battlefield. From the deserts of the Middle East to training grounds around the world, the Bradley has proven its value as a fighting vehicle that bridges the gap between infantry and armor. Its combination of mobility, firepower, and adaptability has made it one of the most important armored vehicles of the modern era. In the end, the M2 Bradley represents more than steel, tracks, and weapons. It represents a philosophy of warfare where infantry and machines fight together, each enhancing the strengths of the other. As long as mechanized infantry remains a core element of modern armies, the story of the Bradley will continue to be told, not just as a vehicle, but as a symbol of how modern armies adapt, evolve, and fight on the battlefield.